boys. Hope you got okay yesterday when we started length, looking at the centimetres and metres. So today we're just going to move forward again. It's going to move another step forward. But before we do that, we'll just do a quick recap on what we learned yesterday. Okay, so we have our length. When we talk about length, we have to talk using our maths language, which for length is centimetres and metres. What maths language did we use for time? Can anyone remember? Yeah, it was hours, minutes, o'clock, half past, quarter past, quarter to. Okay, that's our maths language for time. And then when we're baking with Miss Griffin, what unit do we use for that? We use grams, don't we? So when we're measuring weight like that, we can use grams and kilograms. So really important for length, we're going to look at our centimetres and our metres. That's our maths language. Okay, so for the centimetres, remember our fingertip? That was what a centimetre was approximately, is a centimetre. Here is our ruler. Okay, so here, 1 centimetre here. Okay, it's probably maybe my baby finger, but maybe this finger for you. Okay, because my hands are bigger than yours. Okay, that was my centimetre. Then for my metre, it was the long one, wasn't it? It was the big one. So my metre was the long one. Okay, centimetre was the fingertip, metre was the long one. And how many centimetres were in 1 metre? 1 metre, so the long one. Okay, the long one. I still can't see my hands. The long one. So 1 metre is equal to the same as how many centimetres? How many centimetres? Can you remember? 100, exactly. So 1 metre, the long one, is equal to 100 centimetres. Okay, that's all the stuff that we did yesterday. So I hope that all made sense. So now today what we're going to go on to is what happens if something measures more than 100 centimetres. Okay, so we look at our Busy at Maths book here. So I'm going to have a look at this. So if you have the book at home, it's page 112. So we'll just be doing number 2 today, okay? So we have a look here. So here they're showing our metre sticks. So as I just said, we're talking about more than a metre. What happens if it's more than a metre? Okay? So the example here is 130 centimetres. Okay? That's fine, it's right. But if I was to use better maths language and 4th class maths language, okay? Getting ready for 5th class, what would I do? I think I should break it down into metres and centimetres, okay? Because in a real life situation, that's what we'd use. You wouldn't say 572 centimetres or 1,455 centimetres, okay? Because that's 1,455 of these, okay? It's easier to imagine. So here we have 130 centimetres and it's broken down into 1 metre because 1 metre is 100 centimetres, very good. And we have our 30 centimetres left over. So if you're trying to picture something in your mind, okay, 130 centimetres of fingertips. It's a lot of fingertips, isn't it? So trying to visualise that, saying, oh God, I'd say just be guessing. I'd be guessing anyway. But if you told me it was 1 metre and 30 centimetres, so I know my metre is the long one, so I'd have a good idea of that. And then I know my 30 is my 3/10, isn't it? My fractions, 0.3. So I'd have a better idea visually in my head, without measuring anything. I'd have a better idea in my head. So it's better to break it down into 1 metre, 30 centimetres. Okay? Now, if the person asked us to give the measurement in fractions, okay? Our 1 is our whole unit, that's never going to change, okay? 1, and then we have our 3/10 of the metre. Okay, now this goes back to here from yesterday, okay? Where we have our 30 centimetres here, and right underneath it, we have our 3/10. So when you're doing these, boys, refer back to the page before to help you. Everything is here to help you. It's not a test, it's not anything, it's here to help you, to understand. So we have our 30 centimetres and here's our 3/10 metres, okay? So, we've gone from 130 centimetres to 1 metre 30 centimetres, and now we have our 1 and 3/10 metres. Now can you see where you might get mixed up here? Okay, so just take care of this part. The 3/10 is 3/10 of the metre, not 3/10 of the centimetre. this is my centimetre, 3/10 of that, that doesn't make sense, okay? So it's 3/10 of the metre, okay? So just make sure that you're using your centimetres and metres correctly, okay? That's very, very important. So you have 130 centimetres, that's the same as equal to 1 metre 30 centimetres, which is also equal to 1, our whole unit, 1 3/10 metres. And then if I was to put it into my decimals, I have my 1 as my whole unit, 1.3 metres. What's the most important thing I must do for my decimals? You have to include the decimal point. 1.3 metres is much different to 13 metres. 13 of those is huge, okay? So if you don't have your decimal point in there, you're going to be in a big, big trouble if you're measuring things, okay? So do not forget your decimal point. So it's 1.3 metres. Now again, we have our 30 centimetres. How did I get my decimal here? Go back to the page before if you need to. We go to our 30 centimetres, which we already know was 3/10 of a metre, but now we also see that it's 0.3 of a metre. Okay? So I hope that's making sense. Just take your time, take a deep breath, take a break if you need to, but you should hopefully have had a good look at this yesterday, and if you have, then you'll kind of know better what we're doing today. Okay? So, the next example they give here then. Again, it's more than a metre. And again, that's our maths language, more than. More than a metre. What would be the opposite of that? Less than, exactly, less than a metre. So we have more than a metre is what we're concentrating on today. So the next one here we have is, you see the full metre stick is coloured in, and then we have a lot of the second metre stick coloured in there, okay? So it's telling us that it's 174 centimetres. Oh, here I am. Keep going out of the frame. 174 centimetres. Okay. Now, again, if I'm using my fingertips, saying 174 my fingertips, my God, it would be a long day trying to measure that. Okay? If you were using your ruler, mind your fingertips, if you're using our ruler, and I said to you, measure out 174 centimetres there, boys, on the ground, some chalk out in the yard, would that take a long time? Yes, it would. Do we need to do all that work? No, we need to make life as easy as possible for ourselves and our maths, and we know how to do it. Not going to use our fingertips, not going to use that. We're going to change 174 centimetres into 1 metre, 74 centimetres. Okay, now is that going to make life easier for you? Yes, it is. Why is that? Always again remembering that our 1 metre is equal to 100 centimetres. Always remember that. So my 100 centimetres here is my 1 metre, okay? Because my 100 centimetres is equal to a metre, I know that. What's left over is my 74 centimetres. So in my measurements I say 1 metre, 74 centimetres. Okay? So if I was asking you to measure that way, I say if I give you some chalk and I go out in the yard and I say, boys, measure 1 metre, 74 centimetres, and I gave you a metre stick, you would do that task so much faster than you ever would using just your centimetres. So you'd have your metre stick, you'd have your 1, and then you'd be up to 1 to 74 on your metre stick as well. So much easier, okay? And that's what we're trying to learn here. Then again, it goes on to the next step and it puts it down into fractions. So you can see 1 and 74 over 100, okay? 1 and 74 over 100 of a metre, okay? So, if anybody's confused by that, let me just write it out here. So we have 174 centimetres is equal to 1 metre, 74 centimetres, and it's equal to 1 metre, okay? So we have our book here. So we have our 1 metre, okay? And it's asking me for the fraction of it. You can see that there. Yeah, so you can see the fraction of it, okay? Now, I need to make a fraction out of this. I'm also going to make a decimal next, but my first step is I need to make a fraction, okay? So in a fraction, I know that I'm going to have something over something, so let's do this, okay? For your fraction, it's going to be over something, okay? So when it's 74, how many centimetres are in a metre? It's on the board, it's on the board. 100, very good. going to be over 100. Okay? It's going to be over 100. So how many centimetres is it going to be? It's 74 over 100, isn't it? So it's 74 over 100. So I hope that's making sense there, because it can get a bit like, oh my god, my brain might explode, but it won't. It's fine, okay? Hope that made sense. So there is your fraction. 174 over 100. What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? Very important. Very important. Meters. Okay? If that meters isn't there, does that mean anything? If you sent that to a builder, or if you were measuring something for your work, does that mean anything to somebody? If I got the form and it said 174 over 100. If I gave you a task and I said, boys, how you going to 174 over 100, measure that. You're saying, what's she talking about? Okay, so you have to put in the unit of measurement, which is meters. Okay, that's why I put it in red, because it's so important. Your answer will be wrong otherwise. Okay? Especially in 4th class now, we need to be adding all this bits of knowledge. Okay? The next thing then is it's asking us for our decimal point. Okay? So we have 104 centimetres, 174 centimetres what we started at. We know that's equal to 1 metre and 74 centimetres. Our fraction, the first is 1, and 74 over 100, I went through that. And now our decimal, okay? What am I going to need for my decimals? So I need to do this for my fractions. What must I do for my decimals? It's really, really, really important, especially when I'm measuring. Very good. I have to put my decimal point in. Okay? So I have my 1 whole unit, so my 1 will go here. Okay? My decimal point. And if this is 74 over 100, because there's 100 centimetres in a metre, 100 centimetres in a metre, drill that into your head and you'll have it forever. 100 centimetres is equal to a metre. Okay? You don't have to bang your head like I'm doing. I'm trying to keep it in, maybe that's why I'm doing that. Okay? So 1.74. What am I missing? What am I missing? Exactly the metres. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Okay? Look back this video again if you want to just see how I did that. Again, for this exercise today, you're going to complete number 2. All of the answers are here. Okay? None of us ever meter sticks at home. So all of the answers are here. So I'm going to do the first one here for you now. So the first one is done, okay? So I'm going to do B. So it's 182 centimetres. So let's do this. Right. Golden rule, golden rule, golden rule. Okay? Always, always will never change. So B is 182 centimetres. If I'm measuring 182 centimetres, I say, boys, out to the yard, and I want you to measure 182 centimetres, and you have 60 seconds to do it. You have 1 minute to do it. So, oh my God, is she crazy? She wants me to use this measurement, my fingertip, my centimetres, 182 times in a minute to measure a line with chalk on the thing. If I use my centimetres on my ruler, that only goes up to 30, and this is a long ruler. So it's going to take me ages to do 182 centimetres. And it mightn't be accurate either, because I'm going to have to keep moving it and moving it. So how could I make this easier for myself? I'm going to break it down into metres and centimetres. So there's 100 centimetres in a metre. So how many metres are in this? Exactly, 1 metre. 1 metre. And what's left over? 82 centimetres. Brilliant. 82 centimetres. Again, super important. My metres, my centimetres. It won't make sense unless you write that. Okay? You have to put in those, metre and centimetres. Next, I'm going to ask for the fraction. Okay? So you're asking me for a fraction. You might hear Noah screaming in the background. He's giving out. He might find me. He's looking for me. Oh my God, he's screaming. Okay. Fractions. Okay? So 182 centimetres is equal to, so my fraction, so first I have my whole unit, which is my 1. I have my 1, and then my fraction is going to be here, so I'm going to put this. What's it going to be over? My 100 centimetres is equal to a metre, so it's going to be over 100, isn't it? Good boys. 100. Okay? So what will be on top? 82. So it's 1/82 over 100. That's my fraction. Oh my god, what am I missing? What am I missing? Excellent, my metre. Answer is wrong unless my metre is written there. Doesn't make sense to anybody unless my measurement is in there, okay? So we're doing measuring and we're doing length. Okay, next I need my decimal. Okay, so for a decimal point, make sure you have your decimal point. We have our 1 whole unit, 1, and then we have 82 over 100, so it's going to be 0.82. It's not a whole, it's 0.82 of the whole. Okay, so it's 1.82. So I want you to complete number 2 today. Okay, fill in the table. Take your time. Take your time, as I said. You're going to be, this is handy to take your time on and just learn, because you're going to use it. You're going to use it in secondary school, you're going to use it if you go to college, you're going to use it when you're working. So it's worth taking the time just to get this into our heads. And I know it's really hard at the moment because it's hard to get my brain going as well. So just do your best. That's all I ever ask, isn't it? Do our best. So there we are, number 2 for today. If you can get that done, brilliant, and send it on to me. And then we will do, if you want to, later in the day or straight after, anybody that wants to do extra maths work. Okay, this is our general maths then. So this is just kind of revising all the stuff that we've already done. So this is Tuesdays. Tuesdays is here. So it's page 56, Tuesdays, and I know that you all have your maths at home. Okay, so I'll probably do a video going through the answers to that as well. Okay. Can you hear Noah screaming? Oh my god, he's screaming for me. He's heartbroken. Okay, so that's for Tuesday for Master Your Maths. So if you do that today, you'll be doing a great day's work. Try and keep the maths up. Just maths and English are really the ones that we want to kind of focus on. And hopefully we'll be back together soon. So I hope you found that helpful. Go back and watch the video again if you need to. Any questions, text me, let me know, and send it on your work. You can take a photo and send it to me, or you can just send a Word document to whatever is easiest for you. So it's grand. I can look at it whatever way. Alright, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.